Hello, and welcome to episode 13 of Book of the Mouse Club, Tuesday, November 6, 2018.
Morning, monsieur.
Where are you off to?
The bookshop. I just finished the most wonderful story about a beanstalk and an ogre and
That's nice. Marie! The baguettes! Hurry up!
I'm sorry, but how can one possibly pay attention to a book with no pictures in it?
My dear child, there are a great many good books in this world without pictures.
I almost bounced clear out of the book. Some bouncing, huh?
Come home or make myself known.
J. Thaddeus Turtle, Esquire. Have you never met him? You will find his story in this delightful little book, The Wind and the Willows.
I've come to return the book I borrowed.
Finished already?
Oh, I couldn't put it down. Have you got anything new?
Hey there, hi there, ho there, listeners. It's Courtney, and you're as welcome as can be to the Book of the Mouse Club.
Hey, Courtney. Great to be back to celebrate Mickeymouse.
Yes, so this is a special episode celebrating Mickey's birthday. You've probably seen a lot out there for hashtag Mickey90. We had a television special come out, plenty of merchandise, and today we are celebrating with a special edition of Life magazine called Mickey Mouse at 90.
Yeah, this was really cool. I'm such a sucker for these issues. I pick them up every time in the grocery store. I own all 3 Life commemorative editions of Disney things. Gets me every time.
I have one. It actually wasn't Life. It was Entertainment Weekly when the Beauty and the Beast live action film came out in March 2017. They did a really nice commemorative magazine with like behind the scenes features. So I know the other Life magazines you're talking about, but these magazines are kind of the price of a book. So I try to be
they are.
A little careful in my purchasing. I think I grabbed the Beauty and the Beast magazine at the grocery store. I was like just picking up eyeliner at Publix or something. I was like, oh, cool, Beauty and the Beast magazine. And then my purchase was $17. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have looked at the price of the magazine. But it was worth it. I still have it a year later with my Beauty and the Beast collection.
Yeah, I have to be really careful about which ones I buy, but if it's Disney related, I know myself. I'm buying it. I'm getting it. So I have those on my shelf next to all my Disney books.
And, you know, they're special. They don't do them too often. Maybe like one each year, it seems like. Or the other ones, they might have been a few this year. You have them all, so you can speak better to that.
Yeah, the Disney ones, the first one was in 2016. The second one was 2017, and this year's is 2018.
Okay,
so Disney-wise, not a ton per year, but overall Life now only publishes based off of big events that they feel like they can sell a commemorative issue about something. They've done ones on different celebrities, the Beatles, the royal family, depending on different things that are happening in the year.
Yeah, we'll get into my quest to find this magazine. But when I was looking at Barnes & Noble and different places, I did see a few others, non-Disney, of course, but I think because we were in the Halloween season, there was like America's Most Haunted Places, and I was honestly tempted to pick that one up too. But it's great that they still do that. But I feel like you can go into a little bit of the history of Life magazine and maybe some Disney ties because you're our history nerd here.
Of course. So Life magazine that we know actually started in 1936, but it goes all the way back to 1883. It was a humor magazine and has been compared to the British magazine Punch, but the one that we're familiar with, the photojournalism magazine, started in 1936 when Time bought the rights, and they only really wanted the name. They completely changed the humor piece. Still some entertainment, lots of things that just everyone can be familiar with. They tried to focus on a lot of the everyday, but that's what they wanted was the name, and they created the first all-American all-photographic magazine, and that's what's life's purpose, and what we know it for is its photographs, which is what makes going through Mickey Mouse pictures so cool. So some Disney tie-ins. Disney has been featured in Life magazine a couple times, quite a few. Ones I was able to find, I couldn't find a definitive list, and I tried. I was online for like a solid hour trying to find just like a list, and I don't know why Walt Disney, the company has put anything out, or just anyone out there in the internet universe. And if you're listening and you want to do this, I will happily help you with this page. I couldn't find a definite list, but these are ones I found. So Dumbo was supposed to be on the cover in 1941, but the attack on Pearl Harbor took the cake on that one. The cover was changed. Rightfully so. We'll give them that one. But Dumbo was to have its own features in different Life magazines, as well as the wartime shorts. The cover of Time featured Walt Disney and some of his characters in 1954. You can actually find that in This Life Mickey at 90 on page 35. August 1955, Disneyland was the cover feature. 1960, Pollyanna was on the cover. 1961 had the issue showed a documented all-night prom in Disneyland, so that was featured in there. I know, right? Those like nighttime Disney date nights.
Yeah, date night at Disneyland.
I would have loved to do that.
I want to go to prom at Disneyland.
Right? Like, how do you beat that? And then 1971 had the very iconic photo of Cinderella Castle and the Magic Kingdom employees on the cover. That's also featured in this commemorative magazine. And also on the cover in 1978, it's a picture of Mickey holding a Life magazine, him drawing himself on it. That's also featured in Life Mickey at 90 on page 81. So lots of different times that Disney has been published in this magazine. Overall, Life was published weekly until the year 2000, and then it's strictly been for commemorative and special editions.
Very cool. So that brings us to this special edition celebrating Mickey Mouse at 90. So we've talked about the history of Mickey Mouse before, certainly in our Disney A to Z episode and our Walt Disney biography, that Bob Thomas one. But just some general history. Mickey's celebrating 90 because he premiered in November 18th, 1928 in Steamboat Willie. But I thought that this magazine did a nice job of talking about the shorts that did technically precede that, with the Plain Crazy and the Galloping Gaucho. So this magazine has a great factual representation of the creation of Mickey Mouse, something that we've discussed plenty of times on this show. But why don't we talk about getting this magazine? Because I feel like there's a fun story there.
Now, see, I had no issues. I saw something, one of my friends that I did my Disney College program with posted on Facebook that Life was coming out with this. So I guess he follows them on Twitter or Instagram or something. So he posted, so excited for this commemorative issue. So I knew to be on the lookout for it. And then I saw it in the grocery store. Like I've bought all my other ones at the checkout line. So I had no issues. But you, Courtney, I know have quite the story that we were talking about this week.
I feel like I need to apologize to any of our listeners who are following along with us and may have gone through the same issue that I had. I do remember seeing this on the stands at the grocery store a few months back. And I looked at it and it said display until November 16th. And I'm like, okay, cool. 2 days before Mickey Mouse's birthday. And we've certainly kept different things in mind to talk about on this podcast as we plan out our schedule. And I was like, that would be a great one. File that in the back of my mind. And on our last episode, I said you can find it at the grocery store or your bookstore or online. Plenty of options. I went through 2 different states and could not find it at the store. I looked at my Publix here, and then I was in Maryland in late November, I was in Maryland in late October for the Baltimore Half Marathon. So doing some grocery shopping with my mom. Check the aisles. Nope. Go to Barnes & Noble. Check the aisles. Nope. So finally, that Saturday, I decided I would order it on Amazon, but I would be traveling to Disneyland, so didn't want to do Amazon Prime because I would be gone for a few days, and it rains in Florida, and I didn't want my package to be sitting in the rain because that magazine would not be readable by the time I got home. So I ordered a magazine that said that it would arrive between October 26th and November 2nd. Of course, 2 days later, I was in Books A Million in Baltimore, and I saw a copy on the stands, but I said, no, I ordered one. It's fine. I don't need to pick up this copy at the magazine stand because I've ordered one, and it's going to show up. Plot twist, it didn't. So October 26th comes and goes. I come home from my Disneyland trip expecting my magazine to be there, and it's not. I'm like, well, they have till November 2nd, this past Friday. Came and went. and my magazine's still not there. So last night I bought an ebook version of it because we promised you early November, and we are people of our word. So yeah, maybe it'll show up. I don't know. I've kind of asked for a refund since I've now paid for it twice. But yeah, always do Amazon Prime when you can, and do so responsibly.
Amazon Prime is also cheaper, so these commemorative editions in the grocery store can run anywhere from $14 to $15, and Amazon Prime had it for $12.50.
I learned my lesson.
Yep, always Amazon Prime. Although I'm surprised that your grocery store, you're in Central Florida, not far from Walt Disney World Resort, that it should be there.
Yeah, it was there. Like I said, I remember seeing it at some point and then seeing like, oh, it's on display till November 16th. But I guess just as these different commemorative issues come out, there's only so much shelf space. They're like, we'll put this Halloween one, we'll put this Royal Baby one. I think Mickey Mouse should be the priority though. So
Yeah, I don't know how these are timed or like how long they stay out, but luckily we do have the online world that like some of the other ones, if you are interested in Mickey at 90 or Inside the Disney Parks or Walt Disney From Mickey to the Magic Kingdom by Life magazine, they are all available on Amazon or other online retailers. So luckily there are ways to go back, but you might have to wait.
this was my first time reading a magazine in an electronic form, so I texted you about that.
So that does give us an interesting discussion that book-wise we read things in ebook format, but not necessarily always in magazines. So what was your experience with reading a magazine in ebook?
Yeah, so I texted you because I was reading it, and it would be the article just in plain text for a few pages, and then all of the pictures at the end. Now, I should say I was reading this on a browser because I have a Kindle Paperwhite, so it's supposed to replicate real ink. It's not the Kindle Fire tablet, which I think would be more of that magazine format. So I still love my print books, but sometimes it's easy to get Kindle books from the library, so I don't mind reading books on there because it just looks like a normal page, but I feel like I would be missing out on the beautiful color photos within this magazine. So I just used the Kindle Cloud Reader, and so I would read the article, and then there'd be like 5 pages of just pictures at the end. So I was like, Emily, are the pictures embedded in the text? And that's just not happening for me. I think I expected it would be like the magazine and I would thumb through it, because I remember I had an iPad for a while and would get some of my like women's magazines on there, and that was like holding the magazine and it would be the layout, but this definitely wasn't laid out like a magazine. So you can speak more to the beautiful images and text embedded.
Yeah, and I think that's why that these magazines cost so much, like towards $15, because this isn't like so Time owns Life magazine, but when you buy a Time magazine, it's that thinner paper, even though it's in color. It's not the highest of quality because they're printing these weekly. These commemorative ones, this is very glossy, thick paper, so that's how I justify that. Okay, I'm spending $15 for a nice, beautiful glossy color copy of all these wonderful things.
My Kindle thing really didn't have a true indication of page numbers, just because I said the pictures were on different layouts, but I think I saw, was it like over 90 pages?
Yeah, 96. Looking at it now, 96 pages.
So that's pretty substantial for like that thick paper. I mean, certainly if you get like a Cosmopolitan magazine or something, those are much longer, but I feel like that's a decent size for something commemorative. I mean, there's a lot to cover in 90 years, but still.
Actually, all 3 of the Disney Life magazine commemoratives are 96 pages. So I wonder if that's just a general format for these, that maybe they have like you get X amount of pages and layout space for the designers. So I guess 96 pages is the magic number for Life commemorative editions.
Now, question. Were there any just full pages of photos, or was it inline text and like the text wrapped around the photos?
Both. So there are some pages where it would break and you would just have like 2 straight photos, like page 34 and 35. One whole page is Mickey balloon of the Macy's Day Parade in 1934, and then the next page is that Time magazine cover of Walt from 1954. So there are some places where the whole page is taken up, and then there's other places where it's in the margins or in the middle of the page and text is wrapped around it. So you get the variety.
Very nice. Well, do you want to talk about what you like about those commemorative magazines, since you're more of a collector than I am, and I can certainly talk about my experience and what I liked as well.
I've always loved Life magazine. That was one of the things that, brief background into me in college, my senior history thesis was on the role of photographs and how they've influenced history.
Oh, nice.
So I've always been really into not necessarily being a photojournalist myself, but the power of photographs and how they record and show history. So I love these Life magazine commemorative issues for lots of different things. I don't just buy the Disney ones. I have a couple others as well for my classroom with presidents and other world events. But there's just a great way to get that glimpse in time in a way that you don't need to sit down and digest an entire novel. And that's, I think, one of the benefits is you can read and get some history and background without having to invest a whole week like reading like the Bob Thomas biography, which was wonderful. You should read it. But I can get a lot of information about Mickey Mouse and Walt Disney's journey from 96 pages with beautiful photographs at the same time.
I think what I like is just how focused these are. I don't really read a lot of magazines anymore, but I'll admit in college I subscribed to Glamour and Cosmopolitan. And, you know, those were women's magazines, but I found myself more drawn to, like, their more investigative journalism or their true stories, like the back of the book section. I would breeze past, like, the makeup and the hair tips because I'm pretty low maintenance, and I'm like, I can't replicate this. So I like having a magazine that's focused on a particular topic, like the Beauty and the Beast one. I love Beauty and the Beast. So to be able to spend about 90 to 100 pages with different articles about those, just that one subject, is very enjoyable for me because it's substantial enough that I feel like I'm learning from it, I'm gaining things, but like you said, it's not super heavy. I read my Kindle edition last night as I crammed for episode. But it is something, because of the different sections, that you can pick up at a leisurely pace or just take it all in at once. So I think I just really like how focused it is. If you're passionate about a subject, these are a great resource for you and a great commemorative item.
And I like that you can bounce around. So, like, usually when I buy something like this, like in the grocery store, you mostly are just looking at the photographs, and that's what sells it to you. So I usually look at all the pictures first and at the different titles. But because these articles are sectioned, like in this one, if you saw the section like Mickey and the Presidents, you could start there, and it can be independent of reading the history of Mickey or other things. So you can really start anywhere within this magazine, read the things that interest you, go back and read other parts later. So that's kind of nice too, that it's not, unlike a book, you don't have to start at the beginning. You can start at the end, you can start in the middle, or just read the pieces you want and enjoy the photos and the rest of it.
Yeah, was there anything that you didn't like about it? Or no, you're like, I absolutely love this.
I absolutely loved it. The unfortunate part, though, of having a magazine like this is while it is focused, you always like want more. So it's nice that you get that niche journalism and talking about a specific topic and getting some different viewpoints, but you do only have 96 pages. So you're like, oh, I would have loved to see more pictures about Steamboat Willie or something. Like, they have a Steamboat Willie picture, but then they go on to talk about how the Smithsonian has different drawings from Steamboat Willie. So you're like, oh, I wish I could have seen more drawings. Or they talked about Up Iwerks, but there's no picture of Up Iwerks. So you don't always get everything you might want out of it, but overall, I find them really well done. I mean, Life has been doing this since 1936. They're almost as old as Mickey. So I think they've really refined how they put these together, and they know what their viewers are looking for.
Yeah, overall I liked it. I think just having that ebook thing, I would have just preferred to have the magazine itself replicated. I feel like that would not have been a struggle to read on a browser, because I felt like I would have liked to see the photos in conjunction. Because, I would read through the article, and then it was just a hodgepodge of, like, 8 photos at the end. I'm like, okay, this makes sense, because, all right, here's a photo of Annette from the Mickey Mouse Club, because, yes, you talked about Mickey Mouse Club at a certain point within this section. So it would have nice to just have those photos more in tandem. Even if they had to put the photo on one page, at least it's near what it was referencing, rather than having to go through it all. at the end, because I found like I was like, okay, clicking through the photos to get through to the next article. So I would have rather had the true relationship between text and image, because I think that's what makes magazines special.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool having an opportunity. This is the first magazine that we've done. Everything else we've done has been books or cookbooks. So this is first in this genre for us as well. So it is a little different, and it is shorter. Although I do notice that Life does have some dense articles. Okay. Not dense as in like pages and pages and pages, but they are longer than probably what you expect. Like if you are someone who's been reading Glamour or Cosmo, like those might only get 2 pages, would probably be their longest, whereas like some of these sections were 3, but it is broken up by a lot of photographs as well. But there is a lot more text in there than what I anticipated.
Next time we do a magazine, I will be sure to grab it as soon as I see it on the shelf.
Well, who knows? I mean, Disney has some other big anniversaries coming up. I'm sure there'll be other things out there. And then 10 years from now, Mickey's turning 100, and based off of everything happening now, like I can only imagine what his 100th birthday is going to be like.
Yeah, like you're going all out for 90. Let's see what's next.
Let's jump into this magazine. So, listeners, we're just going to give you a brief layout of what each of the different sections is about, and as we go, Courtney and I will share a little bit about some things we maybe liked or stood out to us in each section, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure. So the first section is Mickey's Universe, and this kind of just intros Mickey Mouse just within the context of his overall fame and his iconic status. Over 90 years, he's seen a lot of changes happen within all of that. I think there was a really good quote. Let me figure out how to open it on my ebook piece.
I've got mine too, so maybe I can help you out.
It's loading. Print doesn't have to buffer, but my magazine does. I thought that this quote was great, and that was that no creature, living or dead or never actually born, has been woven into the fabric of public life quite the way Mickey Mouse has, even as he's literally woven into the carpet of Disney resorts and concealed as infinite hidden Mickeys in wallpaper patterns and masonry and tiles. And that just stuck out to me. If anyone has traveled to a Disney resort with me, I literally always look for Mickeys in the carpet, because that is a prime spot for hidden Mickeys. But I thought it was a nice metaphor and play on words that also just speaks to his status and his iconic persona within the whole world.
We know how awesome and like iconic Mickey is, but here's another piece from that intro. See, people never skip the intro of books or anything. Has great information. So something else that they put in there, it says Mickey the mouse turns 90 this year, so the majority of humanity has never known a world without him, never known a time before the name Mickey Mouse became the most popular write-in vote in American elections, before Mickey Mouse was, in one poll, deemed more recognizable than Santa Claus, before Mickey Mouse opened theme parks in Anaheim, Orlando, Paris, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. So think about that. Like, we know Mickey Mouse is old, but in the context of history, most people living today have never lived in a world where Mickey hasn't existed. Most. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. And it later keeps on talking about Mickey and the things that he's seen. Mickey is as old, they compare to modern movie making, because he was the first cartoon with sound. So that goes all the way back to the 1920s. And also the birth of aviation with Charles Lindbergh flying across the Atlantic being more modern aviation, besides the Wright brothers. So he has been around for a lot. And I think when they put it in that kind of context, like, we know Mickey's older and Mickey's been here, but when you think about it truly, you're like, wow, he has truly been through the majority of contemporary American history.
The oldest person that I know is my Grammy, and her birthday is November 19th, 1928. So we will be celebrating her 90th birthday, the weekend of Mickey Mouse's birthday.
She has never lived in a world without him by 24 hours.
Yeah, just made it. When you said that, it made me think of her. So happy 90th to my Grammy as well.
But like, that's crazy. It's really cool to think about. And the rest of this I think that's kind of the thesis statement, if a magazine can have a thesis statement
Absolutely.
about this. And then the whole rest of this is showing just how immersive Mickey is in American and global culture.
Yeah, and they jump right into his origins, because you cannot have a magazine about Mickey Mouse without notes of those iconic stories, and that's A Mouse is Born, which is the history of Mickey's creation. And they do give it up to Ub This is something we always try to give credit to on this show. We read his biography entry within the Disney A to Z episode and discussed Ub's relationship with Walt in that Bob Thomas biography. But I liked that right out the gate. This was actually in that section that we just mentioned. It said, hard to imagine now, but Mickey Mouse didn't always exist. Someone, two people, and I was like, oh, there it is. We're hinting at Ub Iwerks. And they acknowledge the story of the train, which they say, like, kind of fabricated, but still somewhat
sort of
true. The legend that Walt likes to tell. So I thought it did a nice job of that, because I was really curious how they were going to handle Mickey's creation.
Yeah, and this section has a lot of those iconic photos that we know of. I do also have to correct myself earlier when I was giving examples about pictures that might be missing. There is a picture of Ub Iwerks, the very famous one of him with Mickey.
It's like one picture that we ever see.
The only picture I know of
Ub
Iwerks. I don't know what he looks like.
That's the cover of the Hand Behind the Mouse DVD. I'm like, I need more pictures.
Right? Like, that's the only picture of Ub Iwerks. So my apologies, listeners. I stand corrected. I don't know how I missed the giant full page picture of Ub Iwerks. And then it has Walt at his desk and Walt with Mickey on top of a motor car at Walt Disney Productions lot. A picture of the studio with Walt Disney Studios and Mickey at the top. So there are some pretty iconic photos in here, and some ones that I've never seen before. One of these, oh wait, there is another picture of Ub Iwerks.
Plot twist.
So there's this picture of a bunch of guys.
Well, it's not just
singing.
him, though.
It's not just him, but
so I get what you meant.
There's another picture, though, that he exists of not just him at a desk with a pencil in his hand. So there's a picture here of a bunch of people. It has here Walt, Ub Iwerks, and it doesn't credit who the other people are, all singing Mickey's Yo-Ho song. I don't know. Maybe that's from a short. But a bunch of people singing. So there are a couple photos in here I haven't seen before. Like some images from Plain Crazy. But most of that section I think is pretty iconic and pretty recognizable to anyone who's versed like you and I in Disney history. And then moving on from there, we go from A Mouse is Born to A Mouse Takes Off. And this section overall is just about how Mickey has expanded beyond the film. So things in global merchandise, they mentioned the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the original Mickey Mouse Club, Walt Disney receiving Oscars, their role in World War II, and the expansion also of creating Mickey's, quote, family. They call them the Sensational Six in here. I have never heard them called Sensational Six.
I've only heard the Fab Five, but I guess the Sensational Six is if you include Daisy, because sometimes it feels like Daisy and Pluto are interchangeable as the Fab Five.
Yeah, I just never heard Sensational Six, which I kind of liked because I'm like, you can't forget both of them.
Right.
But this section does also talk about how Mickey's family expanded after 2 years. But that being said, I do need to take a moment here. We do have to credit, it is Minnie's 90th birthday as well. She has been in every cartoon as Mickey, and Mickey's getting this huge holiday bash.
From the beginning, you mean. She's not always in the cartoons, but in his first appearances,
she was in the first 3.
It's her first appearances too.
Yeah, so shout out to my polka dot princess Minnie. She also is celebrating 90 years. I don't know why we're not giving her more love.
Hashtag Minnie90. One thing that I did find interesting in this section, I really liked how it talked about Mickey Mouse in relation to early Hollywood. Kind of like how he drew from different stars like Douglas Fairbanks. And that was interesting, or Charlie Chaplin as well. That was interesting to me because another podcast that I love, if you want a non-Disney podcast, is You Must Remember This. And it talks about old Hollywood. And I know you're a big cinephile as well. But I had recently learned about United Artists, the production company, and its start. That was within one of the episodes. And that was essentially different producers or different actors and directors created their own production company to have more control over the art that they were creating. Like, it was supposed to be an art house for artists. And in this magazine, it said, United Artists is an organization for only the biggest stars, said studio boss Joseph Schenck. Mickey Mouse, however, is different. Disney has created a character whose type has never been equaled in motion picture history, and United Artists distributed some of Mickey's cartoons. So I was like, that's so cool that even back then, they recognized him as a star of sorts. Like, he got top billing sometimes in these movie houses when people would go, they're going to see a Charlie Chaplin film. They're also just as likely to go see a Mickey Mouse film. And that's how these were positioned.
Yeah, they talk about back in the previous section, Mouse is Born, that the movie that Steamboat Willie premiered for, I'm going to look for it and this is a testament to it. A lot of people don't remember the actual movie Steamboat Willie premiered for, but that film is only known for having Steamboat Willie as its opening act. It's called Gang War, starring Jack Pickford and Olive Borden, was the movie Steamboat Willie was in front of, but people don't remember that. They just remember Steamboat Willie.
Absolutely. That's a good trivia question to have in your back pocket.
There you go. Trivia night, everybody. Just on Mickey Mouse trivia.
I would love that.
I just want to throw one thing out here. I loved looking at some of the merchandise that they had in here, and nothing more iconic than the Mickey Mouse watch, and I just can't help but remark that I don't have one. But I will always remember my mom's. Hers, when I clicked it, it was a Epcot Mickey Mouse watch.
Oh, nice.
And it had the world flags around. And when you clicked it, it sang It's a Small World.
Yes, I had that in college. I bought it off of Etsy, but then it was old, so the battery died, and I never
Yeah, my mom's doesn't work anymore either, but I have fond memories.
Watch. #Mini90.
But yeah, I have fond memories of a lot of this merchandise, and a lot of people do, and Mickey Mouse watch is very iconic. It says here the first Mickey Mouse watch came out in the early 1930s, so Mickey Mouse watches have been a staple merchandise piece for the mouse, but they're still popular today.
And I loved that it mentioned that the Apple Watch, one of the faces, I don't have an Apple Watch, but I've seen it, is you can have a Mickey Mouse watch on your Apple Watch. And that's such a nice nod to those classics, dating back to the 1930s, I think, was the first Mickey Mouse watch.
And I love anything like on American Pickers or those shows where people are like, oh, I have some old Mickey Mouse stuff here. I get so excited because Disney has some of the greatest, Americana merchandise out there. So it was really cool. This section also has some pictures of those things as well. There's a big picture of Roy Disney at a desk just full of different there's some little golden books and board games and snow globes and dolls. Lots of little golden books, actually.
Merchandising.
Lots of merchandising. And that's what Disney is also very well known for today.
Yeah. But speaking of your Americana, I'm going to segue us to Mickey and the Presidents, which kind of just highlights how American Mickey is. And this is a bipartisan section. We are recording this on Election Day, so I hope you voted. But talked about how it's an honor for presidents to meet Mickey, and Mickey has been around for 16 presidents. This felt kind of random to me, but I liked it. I was like, oh, that's something I hadn't really thought about before. What's interesting, I've definitely seen a bunch of photos of Queen Elizabeth meeting all of the presidents since her coronation in the 1950s, and I was like, Mickey did it longer.
He has met 16 presidents. He's been around for 16 presidents. I think, obviously meeting-wise, this starts in the 50s, so first that he would meet would be the Trumans. But FDR was a really big fan. It mentions in here that he always requested every film that was shown in the White House ended with a Mickey Mouse short.
Nice.
So he was a really big fan. Pretty much every president they can attest to sighting Mickey Mouse in Subway or wearing a Mickey Mouse tie, taking a trip to Disney World or Disneyland. So pretty cool that they should go out to meet the mouse.
They did throw in my favorite random fact. Well, one of my favorite random facts about Walt Disney World, which had nothing to do with Mickey Mouse. And it was just that Richard Nixon recorded his I Am Not a Crook speech at Disney's Contemporary Resort. Yep. And I'm like, that doesn't have anything to do with Mickey Mouse, but way to just throw that in there.
But it's a fun thing. And I think overall this section is just meant to show how embedded in American culture that he is just as important and as American as a president is. and that presidents go out of their way to meet Mickey. Mickey is more of a celebrity than a president is. That poll, that same one I talked about with kids recognized Mickey more than Santa Claus. I think you could also make the same argument that a lot of people would recognize Mickey Mouse before some of the presidents we've had in our history. Maybe not ones contemporary wise, but other presidents in history.
I have no idea
would recognize them.
What Millard Fillmore looks like.
Or Polk.
Who? No, just kidding.
Exactly.
James K. Polk, right?
James K. Polk.
I've
yeah.
sat through the Hall of Presidents and I stayed awake.
But I guess, well, that wraps it around even more, that it's so American that Disney even has a Hall of Presidents. And Walt Disney created Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. So the presidency and Disney have always had some sort of connection.
Very true. Well, that brings us to the parks. The section here is the house that Mouse built, and it has all the parks from Disneyland to Shanghai and a lot of iconic photos. Do you want to speak to those since they don't have to buffer for you?
Yeah, so the opening of that section is a bunch of kids running through the drawbridge from Disneyland. That one I think a lot of people have seen, although I think I've mostly seen it in black and white, not necessarily in color.
Yeah, no, now that you mentioned that, you're right.
So that's pretty cool. Color-wise, the castle has not changed much. Obviously been repainted to keep up with the time and weather, but I see like the roof pattern is the same. It's still that light pink with blue towers. So that's kind of cool to see that it is still very true to what it looked like on opening day. There's the picture of Mickey, the front garden in front of the train station in Disneyland.
Oh, the floral arrangement. Yeah, that's so iconic at most parks.
And then I think one of the most iconic photos of Walt Disney in Disneyland, him driving one of the Main Street vehicles and Mickey is beside him.
Oh my gosh. And I was at Disneyland. We rode the fire truck that you're talking about, and the cast member driving us was like, this was the fire truck that Walt sat on, and that's his last photo, his last public photo.
Yeah, it's in 1960.
Or is it 60?
It says here 1960.
They got the date wrong because it was taken right before he died.
Ooh, Life magazine. We're going to be sending you an edit.
Yeah. It was right before he died. But that was cool to be in the truck, and I was like, Walt sat here. That's the best part. You got it. I know we say it almost every other episode. You have to get to Disneyland. But just all of that connection to
Disneyland by 2020.
Yes, that is such an iconic photo. That one actually is in Walt Disney Presents, formerly One Man's Dream. It's one of the photos when you enter. It's kind of like blown up to a big poster size.
And then right on the back of that iconic photo is the very iconic photo and Life magazine cover from 1971 of the opening of Walt Disney World, before the hub and the castle stage and all of that has been built, before all the side towers and their ramps. So we have the original castle hub filled with all of the Disney employees and Disney characters around the front. So that is also super iconic and has been seen in a variety of promotional or anything opening day in Disney. So love that. It's kind of cool to see the castle, Cinderella Castle, without the castle stage and stuff that we just got so used to seeing the last almost 10 years around it. Like, I can't imagine going to the park anymore without those extra towers that frame the whole hub area.
I would love them to create that photo in 4 years for the 50th. Walt Disney World recently celebrated its 45th, and there were about 80 or so cast members that started in 1971 and were celebrating their 45th anniversary. So certainly far less than are pictured in that shot. But how cool would it be if they stick it out for 4 more years for their 50th service anniversary with the Disney company? Oh,
I'm not even
so good.
I wouldn't even be there, but if I saw that picture,
yes,
I would be
a
touched and I'd
side
cry.
by side.
The picture next to that I also really enjoyed. It's a picture of Julie Andrews participating in a parade going down Main Street in Walt Disney World. So how cool would that be that you're, chilling watching the parade and Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins, comes down the street?
Yeah, that's the one of the televised opening celebrations. I don't know the exact name of it, but it is on YouTube, and I highly recommend checking it out. I think they mentioned Bob Hope dedicating the Contemporary because some of his jokes about Mickey Mouse in that section. That is also in the same television special. It's cute. She sings all down Main Street and pops in the Main Street Cinema when it was actually a cinema, not the Art of Disney store.
And then I'm going to give one more shout out to a photo in this section because it features your favorite, Space Mountain. And in 1975, the Apollo-Soyuz test project, the flight crew came to Disney World, and Mickey meets them wearing full-on astronaut garb, complete with helmet.
I really
And
want to
it's
meet
so cute.
astronaut Mickey.
How cool would that be? Oh my
With
God,
his
so
helmet.
cute.
That and the rainbow Mickey of the 80s. I mean, very similar
Yes.
with that like bright silver polyester suit with a giant rainbow on the front.
But astronaut Mickey has a helmet.
I know. Yeah, no, if I had to pick, I want the helmet because that's just awesome that he has a helmet.
Yeah, very, very cool. And then the rest of the section concludes with some pictures from Shanghai. Also a fireworks picture of Walt Disney World from at least the last 5 years, because it does have the castle stage and the towers, the more current look of Walt Disney World. But before, I want to say it's from Wishes because there's no castle projection, so it's not taken in the last year or two. So it's definitely from before that. And then it wraps up with Shanghai and Tokyo and the other parks from around the world. And then our next section, something that we really associate with Mickey, is also Mickey in sports. The section talks about how Mickey has been seen as an athlete on the screen, playing almost, I think, every sport you can think of, from hockey, ice skating, soccer, football, baseball. Mickey does everything. He just can because he's Mickey. But
He
then
even
it also
played polo.
Yeah, he even like his creator Walt.
Yeah,
That's kind of fitting.
Very good memory.
But then it also talks about the role of people using Mickey in athletics, a couple sports teams that have been called. So it does make a note of this throughout the magazine, that when you call something Mickey as like an adjective,
Like, oh, that's a Mickey Mouse production.
right, that it kind of has a negative connotation, and yet Mickey Mouse as a character never does. So it's interesting how that plays out. But there's some really cool photos in here of how two sports teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the New Jersey Devils, were called Mickey Mouse teams at some point, and there's pictures of them kind of living it up, and fans showed up as the Mouse Skaters for the New Jersey Devils, and there's a picture of the Kansas City Chiefs in the locker room all wearing Mickey ears because they're like, know what? It's cool to be Mickey.
Yeah.
So they kind of turned it around. But then, of course, the very iconic, at the end of every major sporting event, or at least the Super Bowl, you say, now that you won the Super Bowl, what are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World. The first quarterback to say that was New York Giant Phil Simms in 1987, and that has been a staple ever since.
But not always. This wasn't mentioned.
Really?
But I have a fun fact about that. In
more fun facts.
2005, I believe, because Disney was focusing efforts on like the 50th celebration for Disneyland. It did not happen then. And then I believe recently it didn't happen, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and then it did. But I agree, it's such a staple. Like when it doesn't happen, people notice. There's articles about it not happening, and definitely associated with the Super Bowl. That's where it started, but certainly has been adapted by other athletes.
Yeah, World Series winners.
When I finished my half marathon in Baltimore, I said, Courtney, what are you going to do next? And I put, I'm going to Disneyland, because I was.
But it's so true. Like, it's such an iconic phrase, even though it's only from 1987. I say only, but like 1987 really isn't that far.
30 years.
I know. That's not that long, though.
It's not, no. Like, compared to 90 years
it's almost our
Mickey,
lifetime.
It just, the 80s are further away than we think. Like, I always still think the 90s are 10 years ago, but they're not.
Yeah. We're getting older, Courtney. We have to accept it.
I know.
We use it, like you said, after your marathon or after someone graduates or any accomplishment whatsoever. They're like, what are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World. And usually you always put it right before you leave for your trip, like no matter what it is. Like, you just did the laundry. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World. And then there's a picture of you in your suitcase, like going out the door.
Yes. So iconic.
But yeah, it's super, super iconic. And they talk about other sports teams from the Olympics, the World Series, just in general. Mickey has been associated with athletic victories as well.
And then I think it wraps up nicely with Thoroughly Modern Mickey, which is a wonderful play on words of the musical Thoroughly Modern Millie. Just throwing that in there.
Love it.
But just how Mickey in contemporary times, it talked about Mickey's representation in art, like the Andy Warhol image, different celebrities' affinity for Mickey, the Mickey Mouse Club and its subsequent revivals, his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
And Minnie Mouse's star. The pictures
Yes.
actually that they show is for Minnie Mouse's, which was long overdue, but that's a tangent for another day.
And Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with its 10-year run, those still showing in reruns. But there was something interesting here in one of the photos, and I did bookmark that, and it was the George Lucas photo, which I've seen before, but I thought that the caption was kind of weird on that one. So you may have seen it. It's George Lucas, and it was taken during the Star Wars weekends where Mickey dresses up as a Jedi, Minnie is Princess Leia, and the Fab Five and so are in their Star Wars costumes. But it said, Mickey and the gang aren't usually keen to change their wardrobe, but Star Wars visionary George Lucas was worthy of an exception in 2010. To which I say, they have a huge wardrobe.
Yeah.
I mean, I know most of the time you see Mickey in his red pants and his suit, his like coattails, and Minnie in her dress, but Mickey has a Halloween outfit. Mickey has a Christmas outfit. You go to Animal Kingdom and he's in his safari outfit. So I think
he wears overalls at the Garden Grill.
Yes. Oh, I love Farmer Mickey.
Farmer Mickey's cute.
So precious. But yeah, that caption just seemed weird.
Maybe what they were getting at is like the other wardrobe that they have is, but it's at least generic. It's like, oh, that's Mickey's Halloween costume. Whereas in this, he's very clearly Luke Skywalker. Like they're taking on a different character. It's a character dressed as another character. So maybe that was kind of
It was just worded weird. I was like, they changed their outfit a lot. Like
they do.
And over time, the outfit has changed. So I'm like, for a magazine that has photos of Mickey in several different outfits, it just jumped out to me. I was like, literally on the next page. Well, on my next page, I know it's not embedded, but it's the photo of Mickey and Minnie at Minnie's Hollywood Walk of Fame ceremony. I was like, he has a different outfit on right there.
Yeah, and all we rave about is, especially Minnie, that's always a big thing. Every new time that she gets a new dress, it makes news, or at least Disney news. It makes some Disney news. Like
mini fashion week type things. That whole Rock the Dots was all about Minnie's fashion and showing off new looks.
For sure. And working in the entertainment division, like we were jealous of Minnie and Mickey's wardrobes. Even Daisy. Daisy has some real Princess Daisy at the Halloween party. Daisy. Really fun. Fortune teller Daisy. She's got some great stuff too. Like overall, most of the Sensational Six has, with the exception of Pluto, poor Pluto, he gets a collar. But
one time I saw
some pretty
him
cool clothes
with a pirate bandana as his collar. So, variety.
He does wear, when he used to meet in Dinoland, or Dinoland USA, he had a dinosaur bandana.
I think he still has that because...
is he still meeting there? I didn't know if they changed that with the new meet and greet.
The main focus is the Donald Dino Bash, but Mickey and Goofy and Pluto are meeting as part of that.
Oh, okay.
Chip and Dale and their adorable dinosaur onesies. So everybody gets outfits. I don't know what that caption was about.
But anyway, so then the whole magazine wraps up with some other Disney artwork, again, commenting on Andy Warhol. And at the front of the Life magazine is a Roy Lichtenstein. It's called Look Mickey. It's an oil painting on canvas, and it looks like a comic strip cell, and it's Donald fishing. And he says, "Look, Minnie, I've hooked a big one," but he's really hooked the back of his shirt, and Mickey's laughing at him. I learned reading this that is at the Smithsonian National, which one is it?
I would guess
Washington Gallery of Art.
Oh, okay. I was going to say American
in DC,
History
so
Museum.
Like, who knew?
Gotta go back. I'm ashamed. I worked at the Smithsonian and I didn't even know.
Yeah, I was also surprised when I read that the Smithsonian, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. The Smithsonian has lots of stuff, but they have some original sketches from the Steamboat Willie drawings.
Well, half of
it's
it's been closed for 4 years.
Well,
Is
that's
the
true.
East Wing still closed? Because I was
No,
working
those
there.
are open now. The whole
Finally,
parts of the West Wing
are now closed.
for refurbishment. But overall, I would think that they would put more out. The only Disney thing I've always seen out is a pair of Mickey ears, which I think are from the 50s or 60s,
They're
but they look
Musketeer
exactly the
ears.
same as they do now, like the Mickey Mouse Club hat, like the cap with the Mickey ears,
I
not the
took a
headband.
picture of them because I was interning at the Smithsonian our senior year of college, and I found out when I was working there that I was going to do the Disney College program. So I totally went and took a cute picture with them. They were on display downstairs, but stuff moves around there a lot.
I think they're still in one of the hallway
They
cases.
could totally just do a whole Mickey, well, a whole Disney exhibit.
Maybe for Mickey's 100th birthday.
There we go.
That's what Disney's holding out for.
They used to have a whole Dumbo car from Disneyland. That was their.
I remember that.
Yep, it was
I remember that.
2010. I went in college just because it was so close to our school, like on the metro. But then they took it away by the time I worked there because they closed half the museum.
Okay, so Disney/Smithsonian, if you listen to Courtney and I, because we used to work for both or either of you, you should do a Mickey Mouse exhibit in preparation for his birthday, or also for Disney World as it comes up on its 50th anniversary,
Oh, yes.
or in 10 years for Mickey's 100th.
That's a collector's edition I will buy, is a Walt Disney World 50th magazine.
I will also make sure that I get to Walt Disney World for the 50th, because I didn't get to do Disneyland for the 60th, so I really want to be at a park for one of its anniversary years.
It's special.
Before we move on to other tangents, let's get back to our Life magazine. So from this, did you learn anything about Mickey and his life that you didn't really know before?
I think I called it weird, but I enjoyed that Mickey and the Presidents section.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I just hadn't really thought about that, and there were certainly, like, I didn't know that Carter had Mickey come to the White House as part of Mickey's birthday tour that year. So it was cool to hear different things that they've done for his iconic birthdays in the past. I believe that was his 50th birthday. I remember
Yes.
Mickey's 75th. Like, I remember there being like these Mickey Mouse statues that people painted, and then they shipped them to iconic places around the world. But it feels like we hadn't really celebrated a milestone until recently. So it was nice to hear about different things that they've done in the past. And that section was probably filled with the most new information to me.
Yeah, I guess because you and I are so well read, especially after that reading the Bob Thomas autobiography, like we have a lot of background in Mickey. But yeah, some of those little tidbits, like I had mentioned the Roosevelt thing before, that one I didn't quite know that he was such a big fan. There was also a piece in here that for World War II, Walt Disney designed a gas mask for children that had Mickey ears on it,
Interesting.
like for fallout shelters and that kind of. Well, I don't want to say like horror wise, but like it was a little disturbing seeing Mickey on a gas mask. But yeah, there wasn't like a ton that I didn't previously know, but I've seen lots of pictures in here that I didn't see before. Like the balloon in the Macy's Day Parade was really cool to see. I loved this one because this goes back to my hometown-ish in New Jersey. There was a picture of a couple on the boardwalk dressed as Minnie and Mickey.
Yes.
It's kind of creepy looking, but it's from
like,
1932.
yeah, homemade Mickey Mouse costume.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, I think the ones that meet in Times Square currently, those homemade costumes, are creepier than this one from 1932.
That is fair. I took that more as a Halloween costume thing versus the imposters.
Yeah, maybe.
That are in Times Square.
But that caught my attention because it was in Ocean City, New Jersey, which is my local beach back home in New Jersey. So that's kind of a cool connection when you find some pieces of your hometown in one of these magazines.
There were a lot that I hadn't seen before, and honestly, that's what I was hoping for from this magazine, just because Life is so known for its photography. But I really liked the one of Mickey in the Utilidor. I had never seen that one,
I think
and it's a wide open Utilidor tunnel, and you don't see many photos of the Utilidor, but it has the signs for Main Street, Fantasyland, Adventureland, and Frontierland. It's just Mickey strolling through the Utilidor, and having both worked in Magic Kingdom, I know you appreciate that.
I know, I love that picture too. Like you said, just fond memories from having time working in Magic Kingdom. The Utilidors, they're not really super special. It's concrete, but when you work there, it has a little special place in your heart.
Did you have a favorite photo among them?
I think that one was my favorite photo overall, just because, and I like that it ended that way because I was like, oh, cool photos. I was enjoying it. And then I saw Mickey at the end and it brought it back. I think because you and I have that personal connection, it just brought back that whole like emotional part of Mickey for me. So that was a great ending for me. For someone else who maybe hasn't worked there, they'd be like, oh, that's so funny. But for me, it was a perfect photo to end on.
I really liked the early modern Mickey. In mine, there it's like the photo that leads that section, and then all of the
Yeah, that's
others.
such a good one.
It's Mickey looking into a Mickey-shaped mirror, kind of with the popcorn lights around it. So the photo is you see the back of Mickey's head, but then he's looking into the mirror, reflecting back into the camera. And I actually randomly at Disney, I had never seen this photo. And at Disneyland in Minnie Mouse's house, she has a similar mirror. And I took a very similar photo just because I thought, oh, photography, that'll be cute. But now I'm like, I kind of recreated this Mickey photo. But I just like that because it reminded me a lot of, I grew up going to Walt Disney World and visiting Mickey's Toontown Fair, rest in peace. And you could meet Mickey in the judges' tent. And I don't know if that was taken there, but it very much reminded me of like that meet and greet location.
I've seen people do a similar photo in Town Square Theater.
Oh, yeah.
With Magician Mickey because he had a vanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just a really cute photo. I liked that because it gave me warm fuzzies.
I did also like the Mickey and Presidents opening photo with the Reagans, and Mickey's dressed as Uncle Sam, and Minnie is in a colonial America kind of looking dress. And she's got like real good lipstick going on in this picture. Mickey's wearing more lipstick in the 1980s. I mean, I guess that's fitting. It's the 80s. She's got more lipstick and bigger lashes than she does now.
Very nice.
Yeah, so some really great photos. So hopefully, listeners, you will pick up a copy, or even if you just see it on the shelves, take a thumb through it. Some great photos to look at.
So we have some other Mickey Mouse celebrations going on in addition to this magazine. There is the ABC Mickey 90th Spectacular, which aired on Sunday night, and you watched that and live tweeted it, Emily. Anything you want to talk about there?
I did. It was super fun. I'm sure it's on YouTube by now. And if you have Hulu, I know you can go back and watch these different Disney specials that they put on ABC and Freeform. I have friends that go back and rewatch them frequently. So I'm sure you can find the ABC 90th if you have not seen it. But it was fun. It was kind of like a concert. They had different artists and celebrities come on and share why they love Mickey so much and why he's so iconic. And you saw Mickey breakdance, Mickey play the drums, Minnie and Mickey danced to Colors of the Wind. That got me. Leslie Olden Jr. sang When You Wish Upon a Star. And what got me, the opening verse was the opening from Wishes.
Oh, nice.
When stars are born, they possess a gift or two. He sang that. And like, you know what When You Wish Upon a Star sounds like. It's basically the Walt Disney theme song. But when he started singing that, I was like, that's not the opening verse to When You Wish Upon a Star. And then I heard like a couple more words and I was like freaking out. So if you go back and look at my Twitter, listeners, there's this one section where in all caps, I'm like freaking out that it's Wishes. So that was, I think, one of the big highlights for me was that song because of that opening. So Parks fans out there, I'm sure, really appreciated that nod to a very classic and beloved fireworks show.
And speaking of the parks, there's some Mickey birthday limited time magic coming up at the parks. There'll be some new birthday outfits for Mickey and Minnie as they celebrate the Move It, Shake It, Mouse Dance It update coming to that parade, and the blog has teased limited time magic. We don't quite know what that means, but it's nice to see that the celebration will continue into the early parts of 2019, as well as a whole celebration coming up in 2 weeks at Walt Disney World, the Destination D23 Expo. It's the smaller one that they host at Walt Disney World, which is a bit more focused. So there'll be quite a few panels celebrating Mickey, and hopefully we'll hear more about the new ride coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Moving back up north, like I will not be able to go to that. Was it called again? The D23 Destination D. That's it. I will not be able to make it to that all the way in Florida, but I will be able to make it to Mickey, the True Original Art Exhibit in New York City. That is running, it opens in 2 days on the 8th and is open through, I think, January 10th. You can find a lot of information about that online, or you can follow Mickey, the True Original on Instagram and Twitter, and they post lots of things there. But it's a lot of artists from all over the country creating new Mickey Mouse art. So celebrating that Mickey has been part of art for 90 years, but hey, it's time we give him some new artwork. So lots of different sculptures, paintings, different things happening there. So I'm hoping to get up there before it closes in January. So I'll be up there sometime in December or January to do that.
And if you can't make it to Walt Disney World or New York, you can have Mickey join you in your living room with the Celebrating Mickey Blu-ray and DVD. I was able to find this at Target, and it's a nice collection spanning his 90-year history with a few different classic Mickey shorts, of course, Steamboat Willie, some of those iconics of the 30s, going all the way up to Get a Horse, which premiered before Frozen in 2013. So it's a nice special. I like that it has a wide variety, and I feel like it's one of those good ones that you can just like put on and like relax, feel good type of thing, or like watch a few at a time.
Mm-hmm. Great things for kids before bed because they're not very long.
Yeah.
That's what my mom used to show them. She would always show us cartoon shorts and sing along songs before bed because they were only 15 minutes to a half an hour, and we felt like we watched a whole movie. But we're children, so we didn't realize. Did that have an official title again? I'm sorry.
It was Disney Celebrating Mickey.
Celebrating Mickey. I have a Target run on my to-do list this week, so I will have to keep an eye out for that one. And as I mentioned in other parts of this episode, there are 2 other Disney Life commemorative issues. One is called Life Walt Disney from Mickey to the Magic Kingdom that came out in 2016. Oh, and I have a correction. The second one, Life Inside the Disney Parks, was also from 2018. So we've had 2 come out in 2018, the Parks and the Mickey commemorative issue.
Nice. So I think that sums up our resources nicely. We've given you plenty to turn to if you need to continue your hashtag Mickey 90 and hashtag Minnie 90 celebration. But let's take it out here and talk about, for a moment, what does Mickey Mouse mean to you?
So Mickey is very special to me. I've always loved Mickey because he's so fun. He's so funny. He is just the epitome of adventure and family fun. But particularly for my college program, when Mickey invited me to join him and his friends around the parks to make magic for families, that's where I really experienced the true power of Mickey Mouse, getting to share those magical moments with families who came from all over the world just to give Mickey a hug, just to tell him hello or thank him for getting them through a hard time. Like, I really got to experience in 2015 how important Mickey is to other people, and that made a space in my heart, even more so for Mickey, not just for being a fun character that I've always enjoyed watching on the screen, but recognizing the power of his love and joy it transcends language and just expands to everyone all across the globe.
Absolutely. I would say that Mickey Mouse is optimism personified. You know, he always is off for a new adventure. He's always a good and loyal friend to all of his pals. And like you said, just how he resonates with people around the world. His smile, his iconic friendliness. You don't even have to speak his language. But I love is those new Mickey Mouse shorts that are on YouTube and on the Disney Channel. They do episodes set in different countries in their native language, and you don't have to speak Portuguese or French to enjoy those episodes because Mickey's personality transcends those boundaries.
Yeah, it's so cool that, again, families that I met thousands of people spending time with Mickey and friends on Main Street and Epcot. Just the people light up when they see Mickey. They might not recognize every character, or children might not be old enough to know every Walt Disney movie or princess out there, but when they see those ears, they know exactly who that is, and they know that you can just always run up and give Mickey a hug, and he's going to give you one back. And he's going to say he loves you, or happy birthday, or welcome to Magic Kingdom. And it's going to be great. So, Courtney, now that we've kind of had a moment to profess our love to Mickey. We are wrapping up towards the end of the 2018 year, but we aren't done yet on this podcast. We've got plenty more books we want to read, so which one are we doing next?
Yeah, so coming to you in early December is going to be Mary Poppins by P.L. Travers. In preparation of Mary Poppins Returns, we had a lot of fun back in one of our early episodes discussing A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh in relation to the Christopher Robin film. So we decided to repeat it again with a just as iconic character for Mary Poppins. And like Winnie the Pooh, there are multiple books within that series, but we'll focus on the first one and certainly share the history and touch on saving Mr. Banks and all of that. But if you're looking to follow along, Emily has the back of the book from the first book.
All right, so I don't have the book yet, but this I got from the back of the book of a copy that you can find on Amazon. It says, "From the moment Mary Poppins arrives at number 17 Cherry Tree Lane, every day at the Banks house is changed forever. It all starts when Mary Poppins is blown by the east wind onto the doorstep of the Banks house. She becomes a most unusual nanny to Jane, Michael, and the twins."
Plot twist, who are they?
But who else but Mary Poppins can slide up banisters, pull an entire armchair out of an empty carpet bag, and make a dose of medicine taste like delicious lime juice cordial? A day with Mary Poppins is a day of magic and make-believe come to life. Yeah, plot twist.
Who are the twins?
I wonder what else is going to be different in this.
Yeah. But whatever it is sure to be a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious good time.
And practically perfect in every way.
Yes. If you want to follow along with us before that, you are welcome to join us online on Twitter and Instagram at Book of the Mouse, or email us at bookofthemouseclub@gmail.com. You can find me, Courtney, on Instagram at Great Guthsby and on Twitter at Courtney Guth.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter as Emily_McD.
Great. So I will take us out with a quote, and I'm sure you all can guess where we're going with this one. It's cliche, but it was the perfect fit. And as we move forward to the next 90 years, Walt said, "I hope we never lose sight of one thing, and that's that it was all started by a mouse."
Such a great line. I miss when they used to play that during Celebrate the Magic before Wishes. Got me every time.
Definitely. Well, we will see you real soon, everybody.
Thanks so much, and a very happy 90th birthday, Mickey and Minnie Mouse.
Bye.
Bye.
Book of the Mouse Club has no affiliation with the Walt Disney Company. The views and opinions expressed by hosts and participants are theirs and theirs alone. They do not represent the organizations or companies they happen to work for.